According to reports, a large Israeli armored element has entered Gaza, and it appears that the Israelis may be prepping for their big invasion. I'm going to break down what's happening right now. I'm Paul, U.S. Army combat veteran. It's October 27th. Here's your unbiased Israel-Hamas conflict update. Let's go. Okay. First, taking a look at the map, right? This is probably our best update on sort of the overarching news situation. And as of about 11 hours ago, Al Jazeera and a few other folks inside Gaza are reporting that actually there is been a complete drop-off. Here's a Twitter account called NetBlocks confirming that live network data shows that basically internet in the Gaza Strip has been completely cut off. The only remaining operator, of course, connectivity dropping to zero. Al Jazeera also saying that phone and internet lines within Gaza have gone dark. They're unable to reach their reporters. Civilians trying to stay in touch with family have also lost contact. They're reporting that it's a part of a large series of airstrikes that have occurred in the last 20 minutes. But as we've talked about, irregular forces, insurgent forces rely on civilian infrastructure for communication. Internet, we've seen it even in Ukraine, right? A lot of their forces rely on literally the same mapping software that you and I have on our phones. They rely on to navigate to and from objectives. So I say that because that's likely why Israel chose to cut off Gaza internet, is to hamper Hamas's ability to conduct command and control. But bear in mind, getting internet restored or falling to secondary means of communications is something that Hamas is in all likelihood prepared to do. So this disruption may not last very long. That's why these tend to be one of the last steps before a major ground invasion. And that's sort of what we're seeing here. There's a fair amount of report. Again, 8 hours ago, a limited raid taking place, but then we have just 4 hours ago. No, let's get you guys a real data here. Okay. Right. The military wing of Hamas as of 3 p.m. Today, Eastern time. Military wing of Hamas saying it's confronting the IDF ground incursion in the northern part of Gaza. There's also, of course, a CNN report from 5 p.m., about 2 hours later, saying thousands of Israeli troops have entered Gaza from the north in the past hour or two, at least a larger incursion than the previous one. It seems unlikely that the Israelis are going to deploy thousands of troops, if true, on a raid, right? The bigger an element, the harder it is to turn them around and withdraw them. So I think it's highly likely that this is what we are seeing. 5 hours ago, of course, the Quds Brigade saying our advanced groups, this is a term for an advance, a fighting force ahead of a main body, is on the fighting axes and confronting enemy forces that attempt, it says, from time to time to advance towards the Gaza Strip. This likely is a reference to the fact that their Hamas forces are trying to disrupt the Israelis as they enter the Gaza Strip, right? Since, as we know with the fence, it sort of works both ways. And while you have this fence line that keeps Palestinian and Hamas in, it also keeps the Israelis out. And so they have to create these narrow breaches that an organization like Hamas is going to be pretty able to detect. And then those breaches are going to be pretty narrow. So it's going to be hard for columns of armored vehicles to enter. They're going to have to go through these choke points. And it's a logical place for Palestinians, Hamas fighters to engage Israeli forces. I mean, imagine, again, if you're an Israeli tanker or APC trying to pass through a narrow gap in the fence, if you can take out an APC in the fence, you will have effectively trapped Israeli forces inside the Gaza Strip and trapped the remaining forces outside the Gaza Strip, creating a really tactically difficult situation for Israeli forces. So I strongly suspect that the fighting here is going to be very, very intensive. Regardless of whether this is the big capital I invasion or just a very large scale raid. But again, it's hard to argue, given the fact there's also been reports of a substantial increase in airstrikes in the northern Gaza Strip. And this is also in line with a invasion, an imminent invasion. And the reason is because when you prepare the battlefield or use fires, in this case airstrikes, to prepare the battlefield, you kind of work your way from near to far in terms of disruption, right? So the far would be things like you disrupt command posts, you target leadership, you target munition stores and known logistics points, right? But as you get closer to the invasion, the Israelis are going to be targeting things that are more tactical in nature. So they will target sites where they know Hamas is going to have anti-armor teams. They're likely to target individual Hamas rally points, possibly tunnel entrances or exits. They're going to go from the strategic objectives to the tactical. And I think that's probably what we're seeing here, right? It would explain why there's a higher concentration of airstrikes within the Gaza Strip. You have seen a couple days ago, right? There was lots of strikes in South and Central Gaza, likely, again, targeting this rear echelon leadership of Hamas. So in my assessment, until, of course, we see something new, I'm inclined to believe these reports from 4 hours ago by CNN saying that this looks like something proximate to a main invasion of the Gaza Strip, or at least an attack where there won't be a withdrawal. Anyway, that's really all I had right now. I will keep you updated with more updates in the next 24 hours as things change on the ground and as we learn more. But again, it seems really highly likely that this, well, not highly likely, I would assess that it is very likely that this marks the beginning of likely an invasion of the Gaza Strip. Anyway, that's all I had, guys. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.